Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I can hear your voice. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I cannot listen from the right side. Once more. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So how are you? Fine. Okay. Semangat ya. Last session. Ya, last session. Kalau saya bilang BSI, jawabnya apa? Oi, 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 yang keras. BSI. Kurang keras. BSI. Okay. So let's fire up your enthusiasm. Okay. I would like to say to the Rectorate, the Honorable Mr. Dr. Insinyur Muhammad Wahyudi, MMM.Com MPD, IPU Asian Engineering, the Honorable Mrs. Diah Puspitasari M.Com, and the Honorable Mr. Suharyanto M.Com. Baik teman-teman, hari ini adalah TOEFL seminar tips dan triks yang akan dibawakan oleh narasumber kita bernama Mr. Bernard D. Groover. Ya, silakan kalian nanti simak dengan baik. You have to listen and focus. Jika ingin skor kalian mendapatkan minimal skor yaitu 400. Oke? Nanti di sesi akhir acara ada Q&A session, question and answer session. Silakan teman-teman untuk bertanya kepada narasumber. Siap? Siap nggak nih? Oke. So, please welcome Mr. Bernard D. Groover. Give applause for him.
Hi, good afternoon. Wid mangan dorong. Ya wis. Wid mangan pantoro. Yeah, you ready to sleep? Orang Jawa enggak? Enggak. Okay. Hi, how are you? Still awake? Yeah? Did you get your lunch? Oh, nice. Okay. All right. So we want to talk a little bit about some strategy and tips for increasing your score on the TOEFL. Have you ever taken TOEFL before? You did today? Really? And you're back for more? All right. Woohoo! Woohoo! I like this group. You guys are fun. Okay. So there's a lot of information, but I'll try to keep it short and sweet and happy and give you just the good stuff. Rule number 1, jangan panik. Don't panic. Because if you panic, then your mind is all scrambled and you can't focus, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Malu ya? Malu-malu kucing ya? Ya betul ya. Okay. Don't panic and get prepared. If you're prepared, then you can relax And what we want to do is tell you how to prepare so that when you go to the TOEFL, you are focused, you're happy, you're calm, you have good breakfast, all right? And you get really good scores, right? That's what you want, big score. All right. So, the format, you have 3 sections. Usually there's 4, there's an essay also, but we're just talking about the multiple choice today. Ya kan? Oke lah kalau begini. Karena begini di sini, begitu di sana. Ya kan? Okay. All right, so 3 sections. You have the listening comprehension, you have the structure and written expression, which is basically vocabulary and grammar, right? That's really what that is. And then you have reading comprehension. So 3 big sections, and they're very complicated. But if you do your review and your practice, it'll be easy. Easy greasy. Yeah? Are you happy?
Yes, happy.
Ah, see? That's what I like. Happy people. Okay. So to prepare, the best way to do this, you can get the test preparation books. All right, they have many of them. They have Kaplan, they have Longman, ETS. What else? There's many different ones. The ones I think are the best are like Longman or Kaplan. ETS is pretty good. But they're big books. But don't let that scare you. All right, the books are very thick. But what it is it's a lot of practice on the different sections of the test. So, let's say listening. Listening, usually I think it's an hour and 45 minutes, is that right? You don't know? Because you're not practicing, is that why? Practice, practice, practice. So you have a certain amount of time for each section, and you have a certain number of questions to finish in that time, right? So you have to take the number of questions and figure out how much time you have for each one. And the strategy is don't get stuck on one question. If you take too long, then you lose time for other parts. So rule number 1, or rule number 2, rule number 1 is don't panic, right? Rule number 2, if you can't understand a question or it's very difficult, skip it and finish the section and then come back and look at the ones that you skipped. And remember with TOEFL, if you get a wrong answer, you don't lose anything. You don't lose points. You only get points if you get a right answer. Yeah? So another strategy is people always sit in the back because they never think I'll come back here and embarrass them. Yeah, baby. Yeah. But the strategy is, if there's a question you don't really understand, skip it. Do the ones that you do understand, get the good points, get the easy points, and then when you have time, you come back and try to do the ones that were too hard. And if you start to run out of time, like the moderator says, 5 minutes, then go back, go back and just start filling in bubbles. Because if you don't put anything, you have 0% chance of points. If you just pick something at random, you have 25% chance of getting the right answer. Just random, right? So put something in there. Don't leave a blank answer. Don't leave a blank question. But get as many of the questions correct as you can to get your score up, right? So we'll talk about that in just a minute. With listening, you have to listen to, there's usually 3 kinds of recordings. One is a conversation with 2 people just talking like every day. And then a conversation with more than 2 people, a group, and then somebody like a professor giving a lecture. And you have to listen to it and answer questions. Now, I found out in the earlier session that you guys aren't allowed to take notes. Is that right? You cannot take notes? Oh my God, what are we gonna do? All right, here's what I suggest. Bangun ya. Here's what I suggest. When you first get started, before they play the first recording, look at the questions. Look at what you need to figure out. What information do you need? Okay? Then, normally, usually, biasanya, yakanya, I just put the nya on there because it rhymed, yeah. Usually, the questions will follow the order of the information that you are looking for. All right, so when you scan the questions and see what information you need, and then when you're listening, you can go through and you can make a little mark next to the correct answer. And then when the recording is finished, you can go and put the bubbles in, but don't try to do it all at the same time. And there's 2 strategies. The first strategy is read the questions, listen to the recording, and then they always play it 2 times. Listen to it the second time and make sure you got all the information. And the other one, the other strategy, is on the first playback, close your eyes and just listen. Don't do anything else. And then on the second playback, you can make notes about which answer is correct, right? Put a little check mark or something. And there's a little trick with multiple choice. Maybe you already know this one, because you look pretty smart. You've already figured this out, right? The TOEFL has 4 possible answers, all right, A, B, C, D. 2 of them are always wrong, completely wrong. So of the 4, 2 of them you can just throw away. And when you look at it, you'll see it's like, nah, that doesn't make any sense. The other 2 are pretty close. One is correct and the other one is almost correct. So you have to know the right answer. So once you get rid of the 2 answers that are no good, then the other 2 answers, those are what you need to think about, which one. And remember, you have a 50-50 chance at that point, right? It's either this one or this one. It's not the other two you already throw away. When you're doing your practice books, if you go to some place like Gramedia and pick up one of the practice books, make sure in the back they always have a CD with the recordings. Make sure that the CD is in it, because I've had people buy them and the CD isn't there, and it's like, oh my God, you know, a major part of the whole purpose of buying the book, you can't do it. You don't have the listening. So make sure that the CD is in it when you buy it, so you have the recordings. And the other thing is, there are websites where you can go and take free practice tests, but usually those are the IBT, and the way that the IBT is laid out and the way it's scored is different from the PBT. So even though the online tests will help you a little bit, it's all good practice, but in terms of being ready for the PBT, the IBT doesn't help you too much. So don't depend on that. Try to pick up one of the practice books. And one of the good things about the practice books is for each section, like listening or reading, they go step by step, so that when you get to the end of that section, you have a very good understanding of how that part works on the test. So you feel confident. You know what's going to happen, right? And everybody knows that that gives you confidence. Is that right? Yeah. Do you have confidence? Except you're not going to talk, right? Okay. So let's see, I think TOEFL performance. The one thing you need to do is develop good study habits. I recommend, not just for this, but overall, pick 1 hour every day for nothing but practicing TOEFL. And for each day, just do one section. So let's say Sunday, practice listening. On Monday, practice the grammar and vocabulary, structure and written expression, which is grammar and vocabulary. And then on Tuesday, you practice reading, and then you start over listening, grammar, reading. And then on Saturday, you can do a practice test and see how you're doing. All right, so the practice test will give you a feeling of how well you're going to do on the big test. Yakan? You with me? Okay. All right. I also recommend, I know your test is going to be this month, right? And if you haven't started your practice time, you should start soon, like yesterday. Yes, get the practice in. I recommend 3 practice tests. And usually in the books they have 3 tests. Before you get started, do the first test. That's called baseline. Find out what you know already. And then as you go through about halfway, take the second test. And what you should see is that the second test, the score is higher than the first one. That means you're making progress. And then a day or 2 before the real test, take the third test, and now your score should be higher than the first 2. So you're making progress all the way, right? And that will give you an idea of how your score will be on the real test. Because the practice test and the real test are very similar. It'll feel like the same thing. Hi. How are you? You looking good, man. Nice and handsome. I like that jacket. All right, so do your practice. Do the 3 practice tests at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. Pick a day, each day do 1 section so you don't get too much stuff in your mind all at one time. And that way you can focus on 1 skill at a time. And when you do your study time, try to find a quiet place. Maybe you can go in your room and close the door. Turn off the handphone. Turn it off. If you can't turn it off, then give it to your mother or your father and let them hold it until you're finished with your review time. Because trust me that if your handphone is sitting there, you'll be busy sending WhatsApp and Telegram and Instagram, and you'll be doing selfies of yourself doing practice time, and you won't do any practice at all. I know. I have kids too, and I've watched them. And we go to dinner, and they're not even talking to each other. They're taking pictures of their food and sending it to the other people at the table. We're all at the table. We can all see the food. I don't need a photo of it. Talk to each other. But take your phone away. Put it away so you can focus on your study and practice, practice, practice. All right? Very important. Practice, practice, practice. The practice time will not only help you get familiar with the test so that you feel confident when you go in, but it will also give you an idea of where you are strong and where you are weak. And then you can focus on the things where you're weak and help improve your score. If you do well at reading, don't need to focus so much on that. But I know everybody hates grammar, right? Yeah. All I have to do is say the word grammar, and I see everybody go, So probably we all could use a little extra focus on the grammar. And if you're good at listening or you're good at reading, you can take less time with that and put more into the part where you can increase your score the most. And I think for most people, it's usually grammar and vocabulary. We all need that kind of practice. Okay. We already covered most of this. For the conversations, you need to make sure you know what the main point of the recording is. What are the people talking about? Is it like going to the store, or is it about something at school? All right, the conversation is about something. Figure out what the main point is, and then also figure out what the details are that you need to know. So a common one is making a reservation is a very common recording for TOEFL. So maybe it's somebody calling up wanting to reserve a hotel for Thursday, 2nd of August, and they will arrive at 1:30 p.m. So you'll need to remember those details when you start answering the questions. But the more of these you do, the easier it gets. You start to understand what information that the test is looking for, and then you automatically will hear it. But that's based on practice, practice, practice. Now, they're not going to let you take notes. Let's see. Yeah, let's take a minute on time management. Time management is very important. For instance, in the reading section, you will not have enough time to read the entire passage and answer the questions for the whole section. You won't have enough time because the passages are usually pretty long, usually four paragraphs, and the time that they give you is not enough. So you won't be able to read everything and answer the questions in the time that they give you. So, strategy for the reading section is, first of all, look at the questions. Read the questions. Then go back to the reading and scan through the text to find the answer that you need. So, for example, the questions are normally in the order of the information in the text. All right, so first question is at the top, second question is a little lower. All right, so you can usually use the order of the questions to figure out where the information is in the text. And then the next thing is they normally use well-written text so that when they say, what is the main idea of the article? Well, usually that's going to be the first sentence of the first paragraph. The purpose of this essay is to, and there's your answer right there. Now they might say, let's say the article is about daffodils or flowers. All right, and they say most daffodils are yellow or white. And the question is, what color are daffodils? Well, you can take that question and you look at the answers. One of them is black, one of them is blue, one of them is yellow, one of them is green. And you go through the paragraph and you see, color, daffodil, yellow, white. You look at the answers, yellow. Yellow is the right answer, move on. Don't try to read the whole thing. That you will never be able to do it, trust me. Unless you are a super speed reader. Do I scare you? Okay. So for the reading section, don't try to read, scan. Scan through the text, look at the answers or the questions, Find out what information you need, and then you can find it in the text quickly, because usually the questions are in order of the information. Not always, but usually. And answer the easy questions first and come back and answer the hard ones later. Get the easy ones first so you can get as many points as you can, and then take the extra time that you have and go back and answer the harder ones. But it is called the low-hanging fruit. Have you heard that expression before? The low-hanging fruit, do you know that one? Low-hanging fruit means the easy stuff. The easy stuff. So you go through and you answer as many of them as you can very quickly and get the low-hanging fruit, which is maybe 40%. All right, you can get 40% of it very fast, and then you have extra time, because normally, let's see, if you do the math, you might have 1 minute for each question. But if you go through and you get all the easy stuff, then you have extra time that you can use for the ones that are harder. But don't get stuck on one question. Don't use all your time trying to figure out one question, because then you're losing a whole lot of other points. Just skip it and come back if you have time later. If you don't have time, just guess. Just put anything in the answer sheet, because you have a 25% chance of getting it right. Ya kan? But get the right answers first, because that gives you more points. And then just the ones that you can't figure out and you run out of time, just put anything in the answer. Don't leave it blank. Okay. The hard one is the structure and written expression. That's the one everybody has problems with. Reading and listening are passive skills. All right, so they're a little bit easier than speaking and all that stupid grammar stuff. I hate grammar stuff. Do you like grammar? No? Well, you know, Bahasa Indonesia doesn't even have grammar. I can't figure out Bahasa Indonesia grammar for anything. If you paid me, I couldn't figure it out. Yeah? Maybe you can. I don't, you're an expert. But this is the part most people will have problems with. So spend a lot of time practicing this section. The questions are a little bit difficult on some of them. They will have a whole paragraph, and different parts of the paragraph will be underlined with A, B, C, or D next to them. All right, and you have to know, looking through the sentence, what part of it is wrong? What part is incorrect? And it's going to be something usually very subtle. For instance, in the earlier session, we were looking at one of the questions, and it said, the Department of Arts and Architecture has much required courses. What's wrong with that? The Department of Art and Architecture has much required courses. Do you know? Much or many? Huh? No! Many! Remember, countable nouns, many. Uncountable nouns, much. How much sugar? How many bowls of sugar? Because bowls you can count, but sugar you can't. Well, you can, but it'll take you all day, right? Yeah. All right, so that's an example and something you're going to need to practice. You'll want to go through sample questions and see what exactly they're going to do, and you want to understand the instructions before you go in, because you don't want to spend your time reading and trying to understand the instructions when you should be doing the exam. So if you practice before and you already know the rules, if you already know the instructions, and you already know how the test is going to look, then you don't spend any time with all the little stuff. You can go straight to getting the points, getting those questions answered, right? And with the structure and written expression, you need to know grammar. There'll be things like verb agreement. All right, so if the subject is plural, is the verb plural or is it singular? If it's singular, that's the wrong thing. And another one that they do that I really hate, because it's really hard, is prepositions. Prepositions: to, for, through, in front of, behind, next to. All of these prepositions, which are really difficult in any language, right? It doesn't matter. All prepositions are difficult. But they'll put the wrong preposition, and if you don't know what the right one is, but again, if you read the question and the answer doesn't come to you right away, move on. Go to the next one. Look for the easy stuff that you know, and then come back and fill in the stuff that you didn't know immediately the first time. Yeah? Get all the points you can, and then come back and try to get extra ones from the things that you didn't know the first time. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Do you understand? Mengerti semuanya? Ya? Apakah yakin? Yakin dong? Okay. Thank you. All right. Does anyone here already have a practice book? Has anyone bought a practice book? A couple of people? It will help you a lot. If there's a Gramedia near here, is there a Gramedia in Bekasi? Don't know? You've never been to a bookstore in your entire life? But see if you can find practice books. Maybe they have them. Do you have a bookstore here? A university bookstore? No? See if you can find one. If you don't have the ability to find the practice book, you can go online. There are websites. Some are free, but the free ones are not going to give you as much help as the ones that you pay for. But be careful with the ones that you pay for, because some of them are just rip-offs, right? They're just maling. What I do is you can go to like Google and say, what are the top 10 websites for TOEFL practice? And it will give you a list. You know, everybody does reviews of websites. Find the top 10 and see if one of those can help you. I prefer the book because you're doing the paper-based test, and it's good to use paper-based practice because it will all feel the same. The internet is not the same experience as the paper in the book. But another option is there's usually an English language school somewhere, and many of them offer TOEFL training. You can try that as well. Not cheap, but you will come out of that feeling very confident about your ability to do well on the test. And I know some people say, what do I need TOEFL for? Well, I think you guys have to have it to graduate, right? So you have to have at least 400, is that correct? At least 400 on the TOEFL to graduate. So that's a big deal. But you should be able to do, if you have any English skills at all, you should be able to get about 400. And if you just guess at all of it, then you'll get about 200. So don't do that. Try to at least put the correct answer on some of it. And I know also some employers pay extra for people with good English skills because international business, you have to use English. I know. Don't blame me, it's not my fault. But everybody uses English for international business. So you can get extra pay if you have a high TOEFL score. And it never hurts. It never hurts to get extra pay. All right. Let's see. Reviewing English grammar, parts of speech, sentence structure. Yeah, you will want to know parts of speech. All right, subject, verb, object, noun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition. You want to know all of that because it will be tested. It will be tested, especially in the structure part, structure and written expression. There's also questions or selections with a blank. So you read it and one of the words is left out. And there are 4 answers that give you words that you have to put into that blank, and you have to know which one fits from the context of the sentence. So it's not very easy. Not very easy at all. And that's why practice, 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 and don't panic. All right. Reading comprehension, we already mentioned skimming. Skimming, look at the questions, see what information you have to find, and then you can go through the text very quickly and look for that information without having to read the whole thing. If you read the whole thing, you will not have enough time. So don't get stuck reading. Learn how to skim through and find just the information you need. Question types we'll come back to. Inference. Does anybody know what inference is? Do you know what inference is? I'll give you an example. Take 2 eggs, put in a bowl. Take 1 onion, chop it up. Take 1 tablespoon of thyme and mix with the eggs. Take a little butter, put it in the pan. What is that? What am I talking about? Huh? What is it when I give you a list of ingredients? What is that? Huh? But that, what is the instructions for cooking something? Huh? Yeah, recipe. All right, so by listening to what I was saying, all right, take the eggs and the onion and the thyme and the butter and put it all together. All right, that's instructions for cooking something, which is a recipe. And I never said the word recipe. You inferred it from what I was saying. You inferred it from what I was saying. So inference questions are asking you about information that is not actually said. It is not written, it is not spoken, it's not in there anywhere. You infer it from the other information that you have. These are not easy questions. These are questions that you need to practice with your test practice time. And there are a number of different questions. Time management, we've already talked about. I'll come back to that in a minute. Yeah, here we go. All right, the listening section has 9 different types of questions. Jenis pertanyaan, is that right? Type of question? Is that right? I said it right? Really? Wow, cool, man. All right. Learn the different kinds of questions that are on the test. Because when you do that, each kind of question has a different strategy to find the right answer. Each kind of question has a different strategy to find the right answer. So when you do your practice, learn to recognize the different kinds of questions. And some of them, they will say things like, which of the following is not in the text? So they're asking you which one is the wrong answer, not which one is the right answer. And also on the structure section, sometimes there's more than one right answer. For instance, they'll give you a sentence, and one sentence will have 3 different errors. And the answer will be the one that has all 3 of them, and not just 1 or 2. And sometimes they do that stupid, all of the above. I hate those, because then you can't guess. You have to know. So these are all things that you need to figure out when you're doing your practice. The grammar and vocabulary, there are 7 different kinds of questions. You need to learn how to recognize them. Note here that they also talk about sentence and paragraph completion. Sometimes they'll give you like 3 or 4 sentences, and then they say, which of the following would fit at the end of this sentence or this paragraph. So they give you part of a paragraph or part of a sentence, and you have to select from the answers what will follow in that order. So you have to be able to understand what they're speaking of in the paragraph. Sound like fun? You look like you're actually excited about this test. Are you really excited about it? You can't wait to do the TOEFL? Oh boy. Oh, and that reminds me. The grammar on the TOEFL is U.S. English, not UK. There is a difference. Believe me, there is a difference. So if you're studying grammar, trying to get your skills up a little bit, what is it? It's what? Right, it's U.S. grammar. And you say, well, what difference does that make? Well, it makes a big difference. For one thing, a sentence like, the Department of Arts and Architecture, in U.S. English, it's singular. The department is. But in British English, it's plural. The department are. And that's just one little difference. So if you're studying for the grammar section, make sure that you look at U.S. grammar, because there are some big differences, and you don't want to lose points because you're using the wrong grammar. Yakan? Same with spelling. Everybody knows about the spelling. All right, British spelling, American spelling, big difference. But there are grammar differences as well. So be careful with those. Uh-oh. And then with the reading, again, you have 9 different types of questions. One of the things in the reading that may be complicated is they give you a table or a chart, and they ask you questions about that information. So it's not just language. You have to be able to read charts and tables as well, which means you have to know columns and rows. You have to know, be able to read the axes on a chart, the Y and the X, and understand what kind of information is on those things, and be able to answer questions about them. And this is why the practice thing will help you a lot, because you will see what to expect on the actual exam, and it will help you if you understand and you know what's coming. Because if you don't, you'll turn the page and you'll go, oh my God, I have no idea what this means. Yakan? And then you'll lose points, because all you're going to do is just guess at what the answers are, when you can get extra points. All right, and now, where did I go? Okay. Getting prepared for the test the night before. The night before. What? No? Or was that you? That was you. I heard you. All right. For the test, you will have to bring probably your ID card, some pencils, some, sharpener, whatever you need, whatever you're allowed to bring. Get all that together the night before. Put it all in one place so you can get it in the morning. That way, when you wake up, you're not panicked. Oh my God, where are my pencils? Where's my ID card? Where's You have it all in one place, and it's all nice and neat, and you can put your hand on it and take it with you, and you don't have to worry about that. We want to eliminate as many things to worry about as possible, right? All right, so get all of that material together the night before. Go to sleep early. I'm talking to you. Go to sleep early, because I know you stay up all night and party, don't you? Clubbing all the time, right? Yeah, huh? You just look like a clubbing kind of guy. No? You're a good kid? You're not going to admit it, are you? Go to bed early. Once again, turn off the happy. Turn it off. Don't stay up all night playing WhatsApp and Telegram and all of the other stuff. Instagram. Turn it all off and let your brain rest. And do not try to cram for the test. Do you know what cramming is? Cramming is when you stay up all night the night before, trying to learn everything in one night. Yeah, that's cramming. Don't do that. You will make yourself miserable. Start now. Do your practice all the way up to the test. Just 1 hour every day is not going to kill you. I know you turn off your handphone and immediately you start going, what am I going to do? I don't have a handphone. Oh my God. It's just 1 hour. All right? Turn off the phone, get a good night's sleep, have all your stuff together, and the next morning, when you eat breakfast, try to avoid sugar. Try to avoid sugar. This might be a little hard because rice is a sugar, right? It's starch, it's glucose, it's a sugar. And I know you guys, you can't start the day without rice. Am I right? Yeah, I know. But try to get as much protein as you can. Meat, eggs, cheese. I don't know, do you like cheese? No? I love cheese. I can't live without cheese. But at least get some meat and some eggs, get the protein, some good vegetables. All right, this is energy that your body needs. If you're using sugar, you'll start off with a lot of energy. All right, you'll be ready to go. Oh boy, I got sugar in me. I'm not doing. And then you slow down, and then you, and it lasts about 2 hours, and then you lose all your energy, and you can't focus. So try to avoid sugar for breakfast, and stick with things like protein and vegetables. Milk is good. Maybe a little coffee, but not too much. All right, you don't want to be nervous, you just want to be awake, sharp. So, the point here, get your things together the night before, get a good rest, eat a healthy breakfast, try to avoid sugar, get protein and vegetables, and then you're ready. You're ready. You go to the exam and you feel rested, relaxed, confident because you've been doing your practice. You know about what your score will be because you did 3 practice tests. So you have a good idea. I will score 500, 600, whatever it is on the exam because of your practice tests. Try to get to the location early so you can at least sit down, take a deep breath, be relaxed. If you're late and you're panicked and you don't know where you're going and you're trying to find it, and then you realize that, oh, I forgot something, you're going to have a miserable time on the exam. But if you're prepared and you're relaxed, healthy breakfast, go early. If you know it takes you 1 hour, leave early and have an hour and a half. Even if that means you're just going to sit there, at least you're not worried about getting there on time. Because there's nothing, when you're late and you're sitting in traffic and you're going, oh my God, I'm going to be late. You don't want that in your mind when you're trying to be relaxed and let the information come out. Another strategy, when you get to the end of the section and you have a little time, you can go back, and you can only do this on paper-based, so that's why I say it's different from IBT. You can go back and look at some of the ones that you had trouble with, double check. Because sometimes I have found that the answer I needed on this question was actually down here in this question. And now I can take that information and answer that question. And that happens a lot. You can find the answer, you're not really sure, but then you see another question and it gives you the right answer, and you can go back and double check your answers. Okay, we're almost out of time. I know you're excited. Oh boy, it's almost finished. Let me double check here. Good sleep, healthy breakfast, staying calm, checking your answers. If you have time and you go back and review, be careful. Many times your first instinct, your gut instinct, is correct. And if you go back and double check yourself and double guess, you might get it wrong. So be careful. If you change your answer, make sure you know that the other answer is correct. If you're not sure, go with the first one. The first one is usually correct. And interpretation scores, okay. And we have a key test taking strategies. All right, so reviewing answers, we've already talked about all of this, staying calm, having your required documents. Okay, I think we hit everything. So, we went through all of this, so we come to the end where I say one more time, don't panic, Practice, 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 practice. Don't panic. All right? Make sure you practice. If nothing else, if you don't get the book, you don't take one of those courses, you don't do anything to try to improve your score, except go online and look at one of the IBT sites, at least do that. At least do that. It won't help you a lot, but it's better than nothing at all. But my advice is to get one of those books and go through it page by page, and every night do 1 hour on each section. Not all at the same time, just do one by one. And that way, when you're finished, you will feel very confident about what you know and what you can do and what to expect. And so on the day of the exam, you'll be very relaxed. Om Mani Padme Om. And you'll be able to do the test and get an amazing score. And you'll get hundreds of millions of rupiah a year from your employer. And life will be amazing for you. And with that, thank you very much. Matur nuwun.
Okay.
Nuhun ya, nuhun ya
Give
teh.
applause again for Mr. Bernard de Groover.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, now we go into the Q&A session. So please raise your hand and address your question here. Okay, is there a question? Yep. Mention your name and where are you from and the question, of course.
My campus. Yeah. Okay. Good day. Good afternoon. Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Excuse me, my name is Feby Pasaribu. Okay. I'm from Jakarta, campus from Jakarta Pusat or Center Jakarta, and I would like to ask you about question. I'm really having like difficulties for reading comprehension and structure and written expression, and I would like to ask you tips and tricks and really specific tips and tricks for me to answer the question, because sometimes it makes me really confused. And even I got your tips before, like skimming and scanning and not reading all of the passage and text.
Yeah.
But sometimes for me, I don't get it. I mean, I don't understand that text. So I would just read it all. And it takes time for me to read it all. And like you said before, yes, I have no enough time to answer that question. I would like to ask you, please give me some tips and tricks to do the TOEFL. That's my question. Thank you.
That is a really good question. And apparently a lot of other people have the same question. In a well-written essay, the first sentence of each paragraph is the main idea for that paragraph. So when you see questions about what is the main idea, normally you can read the first sentence and it will tell you what the main idea is. And normally the first paragraph has the main idea and 2 or 3 examples. Maybe the main idea is some of the flowers, native flowers of North America, include daffodils, sunflowers, and bluebonnets. All right, so the question will be, what is the main idea? The main idea is different flowers of North America, and then it will ask you for details. Which flowers is it talking about? Sunflowers, bluebonnets, daffodils. All right, so The strategy is, if you read the first sentence of each paragraph, you will get the main idea for everything. And after that, each sentence will be one detail about the main idea. All right, let me see if this makes sense now. Read the first sentence for the main idea. Each sentence after that will be one example of the main idea. Does that make sense? All right, so if the question is, what is the main idea of paragraph 2? So you go up and you read the first sentence. And then it will say, what is one example of the main idea? Now you know that the other sentences are examples of the first sentence. So look at the answers. Do I need daffodils? Do I need sunflowers? Do I need bluebonnets? And then go look at the sentences, the examples, and see which ones in that paragraph match what the question is. This will help you when you're doing skimming and scanning. Just go through. If there are 4 paragraphs, you can read 4 sentences and get almost all the information you need for the questions. So the first sentence in each paragraph will tell you what you need to know. And then that will be your low-hanging fruit. All right, so find the questions that just ask about main ideas, read 4 sentences, answer those questions first, and get through, and now you have extra time that you can come back and look for other details. And part of the practice is knowing what the questions look like, all right, what kinds of questions there are, and where is that information going to be found. So usually, like I said before, the questions are in the order of the information in the reading. So the last question will be near the end, the first question near the top, everything else will be somewhere in the middle, but the main ideas will always be the first sentence, and then the examples, the details, will be all the other sentences in the paragraph. So the easy one, find the main ideas first, go through the whole section, find all the main ideas and answer those questions. All right, that will give you 30%, 40%. Then you can come back and find the details, and you know, okay, with your time management, I have a minute to find this information. So I spend 1 minute looking for it. If I don't find it, I go to the next one. And then when I get to the end, if I have 5 minutes, I go back and bubble in all the ones I skipped. Because don't leave it blank. Don't leave a blank answer. But find the ones that are easy first, then come back for the more detailed information that's a little harder. But that way you maximize your score with the least amount of effort. And then you go back and with your time management, you try to get more points. But for what you need, just the first pass, the low-hanging fruit should give you about 400. So everything else will be a bonus on that. Does that help?
Do you get the point? Okay.
That give you a way to go about it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good,
So,
thank you.
If I can translate in bahasa, jadi kalau misalkan kalian mencari main idea atau gagasan utama, itu biasanya kata Mr. Bernard ada di apa? Paragraf ke-1 atau pertama, ya, gitu intinya. Okay, next question. Okay, over there, sir. Yeah. Sebutkan nama dan kampus dari cabang mana.
Thank you. My name is Dafasa Multazam, and I'm from BSD Serpong South Tangerang branch, from Technology Information and Computer Science. I have 2 questions for you, sir. First, I just heard from my friend that if you lose your score in TOEFL, you can get a second chance. But I want to make sure how much limit can I get if I get a low score of a TOEFL. And second, what's that?
Don't panic, yeah.
I just a little bit forgot what I want to ask you. I'm sorry, sir. About this. In a listening, I just in the last years ago, I just do a tweak test, seems like a TOEFL, and they using a British accent. I just want to make sure the listening is using American accent or a British accent, because it's a little bit hard for me for understanding about a British accent. And thank you.
Understanding about what? Say it again.
British accent.
It is an American accent in the TOEFL test listening, in the TOEFL listening test.
As far as I know, it's all American.
Oh, American.
Yeah, because the British version is a different test. It's not even TOEFL. Yeah, this one, TOEFL, I believe, is U.S. English only.
US
Yeah.
only. Okay, American.
I think the British English exam, there's a different one. I want to say IELTS, is that right?
Yep.
IELTS is the British exam and TOEFL is the U.S. exam. What that means is that the listening should be a little bit easier, because I think most people prefer the U.S. accent for being a little smoother or a little easier, right? Is that your experience? Is it your experience that the American accent is a little easier?
Apa kamu berpengalaman lebih?
Because in Indonesia, we familiar with American accent.
Oh, yeah.
We always said an apartment, not a flat.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, you can practice your listening by doing something fun like watch a movie,
Yep.
an American movie, but turn off the subtitles. Turn it off. Listen to what's being said. All right, I had to do this with Laskar Pelangi. I watched it with no subtitles to practice my Belitung accent. There's no Belitung accent, right? Okay.
Okay.
And then the other one is you asked.
About score. About the score.
Yeah, the score, as far as I understand, the requirement here is 400.
400. Yeah.
That's the requirement to get minimum to get out, to graduate.
Too good.
Many employers will pay extra for scores around 750 or up. Or if you go to graduate school, let's say you want to go to Oxford University, they normally require 750 up
Oh,
in order to be able to go to graduate school and in an English-speaking country. And I think most English-speaking universities will accept either TOEFL or IELTS as long as you have some score to show them, right? And as far as the TOEFL goes, from the TOEFL point of view, there's no limit on how many times you can take it. You can take it as many times as you want to get the best score, but remember, it costs you every time you take it, but there's no limit. You can do 100 different times if you want.
Yeah.
What about the free limit that I can get?
How many?
I mean, do I can do a once for a test, or maybe I can a second chance if I get below 400?
Now, as far as I know, you can. Testing. Testing. As far as I know, you can take the TOEFL as many times as you like. So if the first time your score is too low, or you want a better score, you can take the test again. All right, and you can keep doing it until you get a score that you like. All right, there's no limit. Now, I don't know what the school requirement is, but from TOEFL, there's no limit. And when you take the test, most institutions consider the score valid for 2 years. All right, so maybe if you want to keep your score current, then you'll have to take it again every 2 years. But other than that, there's no limit.
Okay. There's no limit.
Does this mean about expiration of the certification?
Is it what?
The 2 years mean is expiration expires on the validation.
Yeah.
Valid expired of the certificate.
Yeah, so in 2
Yeah.
years it will expire, and you'll have to, in order to have a fresh score, you have to take it again. So that if you want to maintain your score over time, you'll have to take it every 2 years. But if all you need is the TOEFL score to get out, or to get better pay with an employer, then after that you don't have to worry about it. Only if you want to maintain it. But as far as how many times can you take it, as many as you want. It's absolutely no limit.
Okay. Enough?
Does that help?
Enough? Okay. Give applause for your friends.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I repeat ya, saya ulangi. Tadi rekan kalian itu ada yang bertanya, limit atau batasan untuk mengerjakan TOEFL itu sampai berapa kali sih? Nggak ada batasan, nggak ada limit. Kamu mendapatkan skor sekian, nggak lulus, ulangi lagi. Nggak lulus, ulangi lagi. Nggak lulus, ulangi lagi. Sampai bangkrut bisa, ya. Tidak ada batasan, ya. Tidak ada batasan kecuali sertifikatnya itu ada.
Selalu kecuali ya.
Ya, except. Kecuali sertifikatnya ada batasan umur, yaitu 2 tahun. Ya, 2 tahun. Kemudian tadi Mr. Bernard juga memberikan tips untuk listening. Beliau tadi menonton Laskar Pelangi tanpa subtitle bahasa Indonesia. Dan ini bisa kalian contoh menonton American movie, film-film barat tanpa subtitle. Oke, itu salah satu trik untuk menguasai listening test. Oke, paham ya teman-teman? Pertanyaan lagi, ada nggak? Question, silakan. Kita akan tes pada tanggal 7 atau 8 Agustus. Jadi jangan sampai miss information, jangan sampai kelewat informasinya. Pastikan kalian sudah tergabung di grup Telegram Lembaga Bahasa UPSI. Silakan kalau ada pertanyaan. Question. Ada lagi? Udah paham nih berarti? Jelas? Ada. Sir, ya.
Is it offline or online for the test? Yeah. No,
From internal. Okay. Maybe this is question for me, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ya, nanti akan diinformasikan apakah itu online atau offline. Kemungkinan besar online karena kita tidak bisa menyiapkan tes offline sebanyak 3.621 mahasiswa. Ya, tidak ada tempat yang proper untuk mengadakan tes offline sebanyak itu, kecuali di GBK. Ya, nggak tahu itu nanti tes TOEFL apa tes CPNS jadinya itu ntar. Ya, oke. Yang pasti sepertinya akan online, gitu. Ya. We cannot do TOEFL test offline within 3,621 students.
Wow.
We conduct in online. Ada
Wow.
lagi? Ada lagi nggak?
I know there's maybe 600 people here now.
Ya, we
So
can do.
4 sessions, 600. That's 2,400 already.
Iya,
That's a lot.
iya. Is there a question? Ada lagi? Paham ya? Oke, sip. Berarti kalau sudah tidak ada pertanyaan, now we go into the souvenir session. Yeah, please.
Oh,
Miss
yeah.
Yanti, yeah, Miss Yanti. So we have a souvenir, sir, for you.
What is it?
A souvenir, a gift.
For me?
Yes, of course, a special from BSI.
Tes. Okay, done for today. Thank you so much, my guest speaker. We have done, and I've got souvenir for you.
Oh,
Yes,
this is the last session, and you
a
deserve
little souvenir
to
for you.
take-
Okay,
Yeah,
wait. Can I get the picture,
Yeah.
please?
Oh, di sebelah sana ya.
It's cool.
Ya.
This is symbolist, okay?
Wow.
Okay, thank you so much. You may take a look. Wow, isn't it amazing?
That is so cool. Thank
Really,
you.
my pleasure. Okay, okay, everyone. Thank you so much for today. Whoa. Oh my gosh, hugging, isn't it? It's good.
Nice.
Nice.
I will never forget
Alhamdulillah.
Minusarana
Informatika.
Indonesia University.
Mister, can you say kuliah?
Yes.
And when I say Mister, say kuliah.
Kuliah.
Once more time.
One more.
Kuliah.
BSI Aja.
That's some school spirit there.
Yeah,
school
we've
spirit.
got the
That's
spirit,
cool.
isn't it? Okay, the spirit done. So I need your score. Okay, 400 minimum. Okay, there is no question, and Mr. Ari told me we have done. This is our last session in Kaliabang, and thank you
Okay.
so much.
Oke,
to
terima
all
kasih.
Of you.
Kembali lagi kepada mahasiswa. Kita buktikan kepada kampus lain bahwa mahasiswa BSI bisa bahasa Inggris.
Okay, we will get the picture, okay? We will do our own documentation together. I need you stand up on your chair, take a look in front of us, and we go, we do the documentation together. Is it okay?
Ya,
Okay.
silakan berdiri.
Silakan
Kita akan
berdiri
membuat
semuanya.
dokumentasi sesi terakhir bersama
Okay,
Mr.
silakan
Bernard.
dokumentasi terlebih dahulu. Yuk, could you stand up please
We
on
take
the
a
back?
documentation, sir.
On the back, could you stand
Oh,
up?
now the
Yeah.
photo.
Please, could you stand up so I can take a look your face? Stand up. Bisa tolong berdiri. Terima kasih. Yes. Halo. I couldn't sing. Oke, berdiri. Kelihatan ya dari depan kalau nggak berdiri tolong.
Miss Retno.
Yeah.
Come on.
Take our documentation. Miss Retno, where are you?
There you are.
Yes, I am. Yes. Okay, I count it. Okay, count it ya. Cheese ya. 1, 2, 3.
Kuliah.
BSI Aja. Oh, videoin bisa? Bisa di videoin Pak, minta tolong. Video ya, together yang kenceng ya.
Ya. Oke. Oke, iya.
We will record it. We will take a look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Stand by. Kuliah!
Okay, done. Thank you so much. You may take a seat, please. Okay, thank you so
Ada
much.
paru-paru yang
not
kuat ya.
yet ya. Not done yet, guys. Itu pada mau kemana?
Halo, tak dulu, nanti dulu sebentar.
I haven't give you the information, isn't it? I want to give you a little bit information about our test. Is it okay I'm using English? Yes, okay. We will do the test on, like what Mr. Ari mentioned about 7 and 8 August. Please, if you're not join with our group in Telegram, join. Karena saya baru dapat informasi ada yang belum join. Because all the information I will share on the Telegram account of Lembaga Bahasa. Okay, if you are missed the information, that's not our own fault ya, that's your own fault. That's not my fault. Saya akan coba minta kalian jika ada info atau jika ada tidak bisa login, tidak bisa macam-macam, cukup satu pertanyaan, baca, rajin scroll, jangan asking question much di poin yang sama, please, okay? I do my best to answer all your message, even though di private, di pribadi juga nggak masalah. Okay guys, I hope good luck for all of you to get the higher score in the TOEFL test. Thank you so much for today, for your attention, for your time to attending this activity in this afternoon. Have a nice trip. Okay guys, semangat semuanya. Nanti kan kesini lagi saat wisuda di ruangan sana. Oke, sampai jumpa semuanya dalam Lembaga Bahasa. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you guys.